Hello, everybody. Welcome back to DAV Podcast. I'm your host, Billy Vansen, followed up by Ptray, bobapark, and Best Guy Law 1231. Today's the main topic: Japanese music. Peter, take it away.
So, Japanese music can be put into two different categories mainly. There's the traditional music that you hear in olden times, more so now for foreigners or just for cultural experiences, and for regular pop music that you hear all around Japan. And now, traditional music can be seen as really classic.
Fascinating. Could you care to give some examples there? Like what has the tradition been there in Japan?
Oh, so the music is usually used for things like funerals, festivals, things like that. All the major events that you'll ever see. Now they're usually used for festivals, but it's all very good.
Interesting, fascinating. We should all try to go to Japan sometime as a group, just
Yeah,
hang out there. And
I would
and
love to.
speaking of which, sorry Peter, but there's a guy here that is in our podcast and he's been currently been studying Japanese. Best Guy Law 1231. Could you give us just some of your advice and just thoughts on just Japanese music?
Oh, hello. Uh, yeah, Japanese music, despite it sounding all nice and upbeat, this pop music, it's obviously really nice to listen to. But the lyrics themselves, some of them are actually pretty depressing, but that doesn't stop it from being a really good music. And in Japan, there's obviously the traditional music like Peter said, but those are, as he said, more for like cultural purposes. And most Japanese, they listen to either, pop music, rock music, many different genres. Japanese
Uh,
music is also popular on TikTok as well. There's lots of pop music on TikTok,
mm,
and it's really easy to find good songs that you like if you just look for TikTok Japanese songs.
I
I
see. And
I
there's
believe
one guy here that just knows a lot about TikTok. Boba Park, do you have
Yes,
anything you want to
yes,
add here?
yes. Going off of what Lance said, with how a lot of the popular music, it actually has very depressing lyrics, right? But like, there's this one very popular song in particular, Yoru ni Kakeru by Yoasobi, right? And it's actually very upbeat, as Lance said, like a lot of the popular musics. But it actually does have very depressing lyrics. But because not a lot of people really understand the Japanese lyrics because they don't really speak Japanese at all, people don't really understand that they're actually just saying really weird, depressing things when they're singing.
I agree because as a man that uses TikTok, I have sang along to this song many times, and I've only learned very recently what the song meant.
Mm, mm.
It is a very sad song, but I still do vibe with it.
Then again, though, we don't know because we're Asian American. Most of us, none of us are Japanese here. We can just vibe with the music.
Mm,
As long as
It's
we
like
don't know the lyrics.
it's
Like
like
as long
how
as it's
Yeah,
fun.
the
true, true,
it's like how foreigners all vibe to BTS without even knowing what they're saying.
true.
Mm. Going on to that, going about the K-pop, make sure to watch DAV News. Sorry, this is a little bit of self-promotion here, but Billy Vance and myself, we have made a news channel explaining more about the Korean music. And and out of my curiosity, is there J-pop in Japan? Does anyone know here about that?
Yes, there's actually a lot of J-pop in Japan. As Aaron said, YOASOBI produces many J-pop songs as well as Tsuyu, which makes good songs. I think Aaron can talk more about Tsuyu.
Yeah. So, to you in particular, has actually like almost all of her songs have very depressing music, but it's almost always the same kind of formula where it's very upbeat and very positive sounding. It's always just so like nice, like you'll be jamming to it all night long. You'll be like singing to those
Mm.
lyrics and be like, this is so nice. But a lot of times it actually is very depressing with the lyrics if you were to translate it into English.
I've been hearing about all these depressing songs, but are there actually a good amount of upbeat songs that are actually not depressing in Japan?
Yes, there's this one band in particular called the Peggies. They're actually very popular as of now. They have produced some music for some animes that have come out recently.
Going further on that, the topic anime, as we know, it's a very popular well, I can't say cartoons because it's more of like animations. But have any of you watched anime? What are
Yes.
your thoughts about it?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, starting with Peter, can you explain some of the why so many people will like anime? And can you give us one of your favorites?
I'd say that people like anime because there are many situations that can't be put into a drama, like a reality drama, without kind of turning into kind of cringe. You know what I mean?
Mm, yes, yes.
There's
I can
also
completely understand.
there's also the fact that all these animations are really beautiful works of art, and how they weave in the music to make it even better is a really good byproduct of this whole
Mm,
equation.
I see. So it's just like any other like music, just in any like movie or scenes, right? It just adds to it, right?
Yes,
I
especially
see.
things like fight scenes
Hmm.
are usually really well utilized in music.
Hmm. I see. I heard there's a new like uprising movie that came out recently in the US about an anime.
Yes,
Does
yes.
can you what anime was that?
I believe that Lance K. Tran and Boba Park have actually watched that movie
I
together.
see.
Oh, indeed. Well, so the Demon Slayer movie is a continuation of the Demon Slayer anime that was very popular in both Japan and overseas due to its great graphics, animation, and most of all, soundtrack. And you see, the opening to Demon Slayer, Gurenge by Lisa, is actually very popular in Japan, not only because of its, you know, it's being the opening of the anime Demon Slayer, but it's in general just a really good song. The artist Lisa, she produces many normal, J-pop songs, but also a lot of songs that are used in anime for either openings or endings. And these songs become very popular both overseas and in Japan because of their nice melodies, their good lyrics, and they're overall upbeat and nice.
I see.
Yeah. And I would like to add on with that movie, and there were many fight scenes throughout the movie on because it's an action movie, that
Yes,
genre.
yes.
And yo. And
I see we have some technical difficulties
a
there.
lot of those fight scenes have these really dramatic OSTs, like soundtracks. And when you're watching fight scenes, if you were to think, right, if there was no soundtrack, then would it really have been that impacting to like how you felt with how it looked and like how it
I
adds to your
definitely
experience to
don't
the
think.
I don't think it would, right?
I
So I feel
definitely don't
like
Yes.
think.
the soundtrack would it definitely helps you it brings everything together.
It kind of like transports
Yeah.
you into the movie, kind of,
Yeah.
as
Like
if you're
you're
Especially,
there.
in the anime world.
Yeah,
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Yeah.
it doesn't even have to be the fight scenes. Like, there's
True.
that one anime movie that came out pretty. I think it was like 2, 3, maybe 4 years ago. I think it was called Your Name. Many
Yes.
Ah,
non-anime watchers have also watched that.
as well as Weathering with You.
Yes, by the
I
same
see.
authors, and the songs from that are just magnificent.
Mhm.
Agree.
Hmm. Now that we talked a little bit about the songs from Japan, I was just to the viewers and to the listeners of like, let's say they never watched or listened to any music or any animes from Japan, how can they get started to enjoy this?
Uh, I think an easy way to start is, as Aaron and Lance have a pretty big bias against, is Yoasobi, because her songs are very catchy. You probably heard of at least one or two of her songs in TikTok, and it's just all good.
I agree.
Yeah.
I disagree though. That's kidding.
No, but and like in TikToks, right? Other musics like Ado, you know, more particularly like Usewa, that one's very nice and it's been very popular. And since people would really, listen to those, they would expand their music genre, their music taste, and they would definitely see to expand into the Japanese music world.
Yes.
I see, I
I
see.
I also think that
Um,
I also think
sorry, you
that
may go.
yes, yes, thank you. I also think that many anime watchers aren't really very into Japanese music themselves. So, what would you recommend to them that have already been immersed into this wonderful Japanese music?
Well, as I said earlier, Demon Slayer's opening by Lisa, they can always just look into more songs by Lisa, as much of her songs, like even if they're not used in animes, they're still great songs nonetheless.
Yes,
And if
yes.
they like Lisa, if they liked Demon Slayer, they can start with that. And then maybe some other songs, such as Radwimps, which made the songs for Your Name. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I see, I see. And just to kind of wrap things up, there was a guy here who's been at basically he just learned more about the Chinese culture and music, and he's kind of our editor. And now that he's here, I just want to ask him a little bit of questions if he's here.
Hi, yes. This is Justin. Justin
hel-
Nguyen.
Hello, Justin Nguyen. I just how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. It's kind of weird being on here for the first time. I'm usually behind the scenes, but
Mm.
yeah, first time for everything, I guess.
Well said, well said. And I'm here just to ask you a question. What just now that you listen to it, do you have any experience first of all with Japanese music?
No, not particularly. No. I did just learn a lot about Chinese traditional opera music earlier. I think that was,
I see.
Oh,
very
were there any
unique.
connections to the traditional Chinese opera music with Japanese traditional music?
You guys mentioned how Japanese music sometimes, even though, the music may sound very happy and outgoing, the lyrics can be very misleading. The music can be very misleading when it comes to representing the meaning of the lyrics. And I think that's also the case with some Chinese operas. For instance, on the podcast I was on earlier, the host showed me this opera where this man was reading off this accusation about this guy trying to kill his wife and his children,
Wow.
or his sons. Yeah, it was really brutal, but the music just sounded so elegant and beautiful. So it really throws you for a spin.
Wow.
Would you say that both Japanese music and Chinese traditional music, they would tell a story in a sense, Would you say
Of
that?
course, yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's
As with any song, any music, it's there to tell a story.
I see. So it looks like we're almost out of time here, so I'm gonna just kind of just wrap things up here with my fellow podcasters here. And first of all, thank you viewers for staying around. Make sure to check out DAV News also. Is there anything you guys would like to say to finish it up?
You can find me on Instagram at inspirationaljustin, inspirational_Justin, spelled normally. I post really inspirational content there, so if you wanna follow it, I would really appreciate that.
All right. Thank you for listening to DAV Podcast, and Billy Vansen signing out. We're done!